What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 3 of our Big 12 Team Builder Dynasty offseason of year number 3. We're going to be looking at position changes to lead this episode off. And for Ardmore, we've had some changes on the defensive line. We had 3 guys in the 80s, one being Florencio Woolridge at left end. And we've also got Jeff Cooper coming in at that left end spot at 78, so it's pretty loaded as far as depth goes on the D line. So we ended up moving Russell Link from left end over to right end, so he's going to be paired up with James Jamison, who we redshirted last season. He was a good freshman coming in. Patrick Barrett was already there, so we've got some depth here on the D line. And then also James Holmes is moving from left end over to defensive tackle to pair up with Gerald Anderson, the true freshman.
Right, and running a 3-4, though, correct. So you're just going to stick with those 3 starting defensive linemen. It's a pretty good unit. And then you see Apollo Warren there coming back with McKinney, who I think should play right away, right?
Yeah, especially when we have the 3-4 system going with the 4 linebackers. It's looking more and more like it's going to be Anthony Jacobs, McKinney, Warren. Apollo Warren, in my opinion, he's probably going to end up being the middle linebacker with David Price and McKinney being the 2 outsides.
Yeah.
And we also have this guy here, Travis Griffin. And now, guys, he's 6'7", 220 pounds. He's an absolute beast. So where's he going to play?
He's got 89 speed.
He's not a quarterback. He could be a running back at 6'7".
Wow.
At a 78 overall. Fullback, he'd be a 70. So maybe he's going to be kind of a guy that can play everywhere, and that's really what I'm thinking that he's going to be. He's not going to stick to one position, but it's obvious to me that even at tight end, we've already got Eric Buchanan. It seems obvious to me that we need a wide receiver. He's going to play there. I already tried to look at defense. He's not a defensive player whatsoever, just cannot tackle, and he's already one of our better wide receivers here.
Yeah, you got the 4 seniors who, I mean, after the progression, they're going to be pretty solid.
Yeah.
They'll definitely be fine, but yeah, you need some help backing them up down the road, and it's going to be Travis Griffin, it looks like.
He's not going to get redshirted. I'm going to say that right now. I'm not losing this guy because we can't have 4 wide receivers leave next season and then have Travis Griffin transfer. So we're going to get him involved in any way that we possibly can.
All right, let's check out Nebraska State here. I got this guy, Jason Hopkins, with that kind of size. He's looking to me like an offensive lineman, and we need some center help. Brody Clement was a 5-star athlete that we were really happy to get, and it turns out he is -6, so borderline bust.
Borderline, but he's got some good attributes to get going there. 87 speed.
Yeah, I'm gonna play him at receiver because we don't need him at running back, and we definitely don't need him at quarterback. So I guess receiver is gonna have to be where he ends up going. You look at our offensive line situation. I moved. Well, it looks like Towns is going to start, but Hopkins might start. Beverly might take over him, but regardless, there's going to be some give and take there.
Towns at an 80, by the way. That's big time.
Yeah, he should be very good, and that's going to do it for our position changes for Nebraska State. If you're interested in the quarterbacks, that's what we have, and we'll see how they progress. Should be pretty fun.
Well, the cool thing is that most of them all can run.
All right, let's start with ACU here. Now, these players have not been renamed, and if you guys are new, kind of the way we do it, when ACU was created, every player was a submitted custom player. And we took your names, and we put them onto the Team Builder system, and unfortunately, Team Builder's no longer. But the idea is that we want to keep with the program. So every offseason, we rename every ACU true freshman that comes in, and we have a live stream. You guys throw names out. If we like it, then we use it. That's kind of how it goes. So these guys have not been renamed yet, but we're just gonna move their positions so you guys know where they're at. That live stream will be
at a later date.
In a few days. So just be on the lookout for that. We'll announce it eventually. So Cedric Jacques, this guy was +8. So he's a big-time athlete. He's a 79 at running back, 80 at receiver, 73 at tight end. I feel like receiver might be the spot.
Yeah, you can't put that guy at tight end. I mean, I guess you could with 90 speed, but you're almost losing a little bit there.
Yeah, so we're just going to do that. Darren Madison, 75 at running back. He's a 78 receiver, 52 at tight end. And, ooh, pretty good cover guy. Let's try cornerback. Let's see if we can use him there. I think we can.
True freshman right there, man. He's the fastest corner. Well, no. Tyreek Wyrick Dysart is the fastest at 97, but he's the second fastest out of Plantation, Florida.
Yeah, ACU's, they're going to have to rebuild the secondary a little bit.
Yeah, they don't need him at free safety right now.
No, Washington's still there. Price and Howell are going to probably take those strong safety duties, but maybe play a little bit of a cornerback as well. So, yeah, Madison is a pretty good fit right there.
Not much has changed for Amarillo, but they did get a JUCO junior athlete, Aaron Culver. 88 speed, 78 overall. I always talk about the speed because that kind of gives you an indication of where this guy can play. And just taking a look here, he's a 78 quarterback. So
as a junior, though,
you don't really need it. Running back at 79, they don't really need that either. 74 at wide receiver, can't play on the line, obviously, he's too small. He's an offensive player for sure. So we have to look and see where he's going to fit because we have Preston Michaels here at an 80, Galveston at a 78 as a sophomore, and then Craig Lacey as a 72 as a freshman. So for being a junior, he doesn't fit because you don't want to take snaps away from Nate Galveston. Running back, he might fit at running back, but then you've got Brandon Lee to feed.
Yeah.
So maybe wide receiver is the answer here, and it looks like it is because we have a lot of young guys coming in. Quan already being a junior now. Brian Miller, the senior. Bradshaw, John Hunter, Nathan Hearn, Ed Moss. So it seems like he would fit as a wide receiver. So that's
he'll play right away.
That's what we're going to do. So wide out as 74, and just for you guys to see it, there he is. So he's the number 2 wideout on this football team. So Brock Musselman going to be utilizing a lot of weapons here in his first season as Amarillo head coach.
All right, let's check out Broken Arrow here. We have John Davis out of Ohio, 73 at quarterback. He's a 72 running back. And let's see if he can do anything on defense. He can play a little bit of coverage. Let's see what we have here at cornerback for Broken Arrow. Might be a good guy to build around here. They got Henry, Adams, Evans, and Davis. So the question is, do you want Davis to be quarterback or halfback? Safety, we're fine at safety for this team. Quarterback, Brian Street is going to be in the pros, so it's going to be up to Lamont Christian, who was formerly the #1 recruit in the nation, to take over. So they got this guy Brandt. It looks like he might be a bust. -5, that hurts. But they also have Buster Smith, who should move up and become the primary backup. So the question is, do you want Davis to be the backup quarterback right away, true freshman, or you want this guy who's been in a college program, got a little bit of experience?
You need Buster Smith. You need Buster Smith to be the backup quarterback.
I agree with that.
Yep, you need...
And running back should be pretty stacked, so I think we're going to leave Davis there. Michael Williams, he is a 6'8" player, so that says interior to me. 69 at tight end. Let's look at what our offensive line situation is here. Tight end, not necessary there. Let's see. This is going to be a rebuilding offensive line for Uba, so I think left tackle is a good spot for him. So we'll stick with that. All right, Denver Tech here. A lot of players to move around. This should be pretty fun here. Nick Burns was one of the top athlete recruits in the nation.
Dang.
Be at 81 at running back and 81 at receiver. And I think that's where we got to go. So I'm feeling wide receiver. Let's see what we got next year. So he would currently be the number 3 unless Parker progresses and moves into that slot. But I think Burns would get a lot of playing time at this position.
Oh, yeah, especially with the agility and the acceleration right there, too. Yeah, he's going to be special for Denver Tech, especially with Makovich being paired up with him.
I think that's the right call.
Yeah.
Craig Reed, a 78 at running back. He's a 79 wide receiver. I think that's also going to be the move, unless he can play cornerback and he's not a coverage guy. So we're going to go wide receiver there as well. Andre Brandt was a guy they got from Texas, and he would be a 78 at quarterback.
I think you might need to start planning for the future at that position.
Well, let me see their cornerback situation. I think they need some help.
Maybe.
Maybe down the road. Like, maybe we could redshirt him there. They do have this Bobby Greer guy, but, you know, now that you mention it, because Makovich he might not return for his senior season.
And Beverly's going to be gone after this season. Bobby Greer, who knows? He might end up transferring. You always got to be wary about the transfers, guys. Always got to be wary about the transfers, especially if you're Denver Tech. Okay, you have this long-standing tradition about quarterbacks, about your quarterback and quarterback stability.
Yeah, so they're going to need some help down the road. Let's see if Bryant doesn't look like a great fit there. Not necessary. Linebacker might be an area that we can do. Maybe he can play left linebacker. I think that's the idea. 68.
81 speed defensive tackle.
That'd be
get him to the linebacker.
Pretty monstrous.
Yeah.
But, yeah, maybe what if we can move one of these guys to play wideout? How about that? What about Ricky Carey? 63. Yeah, so the question, it really comes down to Brandt here, or do we want him here?
You know where I stand on it. He's got to play quarterback for me. What's his throw accuracy and everything like that? That's kind of.
They're usually a bit lower, as we saw with Pat Dowdell. He's got 66 awareness, 89 elusiveness, and
throw accuracy 77, 84. Maybe that's not the answer then. Maybe what you have to do is hope that Greer stays, convince Makovich to stay, and
Greer's 69 because he's a scrambler too.
Yeah.
So maybe Brandt would be fine here because we got to think Denver is very flexible. Okay, they can move, they can morph with their personnel. They're fine running it all day, as we saw. They're fine throwing it. And when you got like Miller and Thomas,
McQueen,
and Martin was a bit of a bust last year, but he redshirted, so he'll get better. This should be a good running attack. So even if Makovich leaves them in the dust, I think they'll be okay.
They'll get back to the Keenan Timmons offense. So no position changes for the Camu Amber Way, but actually nothing really of note. But we do have to note this, guys, is that Jameel Carter is going to be playing a lot more cornerback this season, because when you look at the cornerback depth, it is not very good for the Amber Wave. Kyle Owens being the bright spot here, 3-star, 77 at the +7, so he's a gem, guys. He's an absolute, really.
They're going to have to
really
get faster, too, this offseason.
They are, because this 88, 89 type of speed here, probably not going to cut it here in this Big 12. We did move over Dante Givens from strong safety to cornerback because we need him. We need some depth there. So Jameel Carter will be a nice infuse of talent in this group, and that's really the only thing of note. Little Rock Battlehawks time. Jack Johnson, 75 overall player right now, and where is he going to go? Could play halfback, 75. Could play wide receiver, 68. But we'd probably lean more towards that running back spot. Corner, he's a 70. Defensive back, 73, 70. I think he's got to play corner, in my opinion. In my humble opinion.
It's a good spot for him.
Let's take a look at it. Jack Johnson at freshman. So he and Todd Porter are the two freshmen that are going to be taking over once Jabari London and Jeremiah Price leave. Doug Greco and Nixon will be the two guys leading the charge as the upperclassmen the following season. So, yeah, corner is a little bit scarce right now. It's a little bit bare. Let's take a look at Jason Wilson. Now, 86 speed, that's the highest grade he gets, is at wide receiver. So that's where he is going to end up.
I think it's a good spot. Gunner needs weapons.
Yes, because now if you look at it, he's already number 2.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge for Gunner. They need more weapons, like you said. And then Josh Edwards doesn't really fit a whole lot anywhere except the O-line, and it looks like that's where he's going to go. So it looks like he's going to have to go to left guard.
No! All right, let's check out McAllen here. We got two athletes. Larry Covington, a junior. He's a 79 at quarterback. I'm thinking more of a cornerback situation here. for him. And then James Bennett is a bust, and he should quit football
For what I hate that word bust for at least for this, because he's not technically a bust.
He's a 69 true freshman. He'll be good.
Yeah, he's just not what you thought you were getting.
Yes, correct. I think I'm happy with this. I'm just gonna keep him here. Maybe. Okay, we'll do that. 68 at strong safety. I'm fine with that. And then you see right here, Covington as a junior is gonna step up, fill in at that position there, and yeah, McAllen should be good there. I'm looking at like Buckley, man. So new head coach Leroy Jackson bringing the Denver Tech running game to McAllen, and that should benefit Andres Buckley. But I mean, right behind him, not a lot to work with. That first recruiting class for McAllen was pretty mediocre, did not really live up to expectations. So that's, again, the primary reason why Musselman wanted to get out. But Jackson might save them because his system is probably better, so he might be able to get more out of what's left on McAllen's roster.
Maximize the roster and the talent on it.
So it might have worked for everybody involved. Midland State here, they did switch the linebacking crew around a little bit. Jake Brock will be starting at right outside linebacker, custom recruit. D'Anthony Okobo will also get some time. I wonder if they might benefit from a 3-4 kind of look, because you see they do have some talented defensive ends here like Martinez, but they went with Grant, Talamantes, and Okahere. That might be pretty good. And then you go with the 4 linebacker set. Maybe they'll mix it up more this year.
Yeah, this team is absolutely deep, and I think we need to show them the cornerback position.
Yep, that's how the cornerback situation worked out.
Oh my God.
They had this JUCO Simon. Hall was +3, Pierre was +7, and Colton Yo +5.
He can play anywhere.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we wanted, right? See the +3, and then you get down here guys that weren't quite as good, probably gonna get released into the ether. So Colton Yo, I think we're gonna move him. I'm thinking they might move him to receiver.
He's 77 at receiver right now.
Yeah, if we move him to wide out and then still play him at cornerback as well, because they still need the help there, like with their nickelback situation.
Well, they have 4 upperclassmen there with Fowler, Austin, Wynn, and Neely.
Yeah.
So the only guys that are after that are underclassmen with freshman, sophomore, freshman.
Yeah.
They need Colton Yo to be a primary receiver now, and then just work in a little bit at receiver, primarily play cornerback. But they're not going to need to recruit a corner for the next 3 seasons. And honestly, if you're like Ardmore, like us, like you said in the recruiting videos, are like, can we please have some of these cornerbacks? You guys don't need all of them.
You could have used a couple. Right?
Come on now. So
I'm seeing if anybody else can play corner, and that way they don't need to have so many guys.
We see a little bit of a different change in mentality for a couple teams this season. Midland State's looking like they want to go a little bit more defensive-minded versus only going and focusing on the offense, and maybe that'll help them down the road. Obviously, with these types of cornerbacks, they're going to be really good in the next 2 seasons. I would think that this team's going to be really hard to throw against.
Yeah, absolutely. At safety, Carl Everett is going to make the switch from strong safety to free safety. And then we're going to have Alex Clark start, maybe with Caleb Talley, the JUCO. So secondary, it's not that great this season. But I think they got it to a position, it was an emergency, and they got it to a position where it's going to be competent this year. That's all you can really ask for. Okay, so Odessa State now coming off of the #1 recruiting class in the nation.
They're absolutely insane.
If you can believe it. They got this guy here, Jimmy Brown, 77 at running back, 72 at receiver. And then doesn't contribute much on defense. I think running back is the move, because we'll see here. They do have the Steve Norton guy who looks pretty good, but Gibson, who's been with us since the beginning of the Dynasty, is a redshirt senior. And then you see Jimmy Brown and Keller. Brown would be the next guy up, I would imagine, although Norton will play as well. But Brown for the future, I think, is a good move here. Yeah,
he's got a little bit more power, too, at 63 strength. I'm not sure if he fits with what they're trying to do at Odessa with the offense, but, he can he can work himself in there and do some good things. He
64
can catch.
catching.
Yeah, well, that's spectacular catch.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
got the 70 catching. Yeah. So it's a little bit, it's high up there. I mean, so he seems like he's an all-around type of running back. We'll have to see how he does, though. I mean, it's still up for grabs. The good thing about him is that he can play so many different positions that if it doesn't work out at running back, they can just move him somewhere else.
Yeah, here's a team that could use some cornerbacks as well. So I would love to move one of these guys over to the cornerback spot to kind of improve the depth in the future there, but the fact of the matter is nobody's just fast enough. And then Allen at 73, going to downgrade to a 65. I'll just keep him at the free safety spot. And then same goes here. Jason Kelly, 82 overall. I'm not messing with that, obviously. Henry goes to a 64, so nothing really works. So we'll have to just address it through recruiting in the offseason.
Shreveport has some pretty good athletes coming in. Josh Cook looks like he's going to be a wide receiver. Or, wait, just kidding, because he's going to actually go to cornerback because he's the same rating as 78. And with that 94 speed, they need it. They need to get younger there too, and it seems like a good fit. Juan Powers, 6 foot, 292. He looks like he's going to be an O lineman, and we could either do left tackle, left guard, right guard, but he seems to be more fitting with a center. And one thing I do need to show you guys is I accidentally moved Larriere to corner. He fits there, but he was an athlete. I needed to show you guys this. I screwed that up. But cornerback seems to be pretty good now that they have Cook, and all these other guys are going to be 80s. Existing players will be 80s now. So cornerback is a position of strength now for the Skeeters. So after the position changes, what has happened with the training results? We see Jake Wood being the best overall player for Ardmore. Well-deserved. John Hicks, now 93 overall with that 95 speed at quarterback. It's going to be money for us.
Pretty good
this season.
And your offensive line's actually going to hold up. I know you're going to lose some guys from the OG crew, but these guys have been playing pretty good in their absence. So Blake Birkendaval and Vandermeulen are good guys to build around. Your defense, you're going to have Holmes at tackle, as we talked about, and you got Apollo Warren, probably the captain of your defense.
Yes, for sure. We're going to probably, again, move him to middle linebacker to be that captain, and we'll see how the rest of the linebacker crew works itself out. But Xavier Wiggins, being a redshirt sophomore at an 89, he had that +5, which shows a lot of growth. Leandro Ransom leading the way at wide receiver, and our running backs are going to be pretty darn good. And again, just as you mentioned, the offensive line for us is a big focal point. Years ago, Orlando Goodlove gets a +6. So our team is looking very, very solid. It's not very top-heavy whatsoever. We do have a lot of depth happening here. Jeremy Wilson at a 78. So it looks like it's a pretty darn good team yet again. We're going to find ourselves competing and hanging in there with the top dogs.
And speaking of dogs, I was a little bit doom and gloom on our team's chances.
Looks pretty good.
And, I mean, relative to where we've been, this could be our best roster to date. I might even go so far as to say that. Joey Shonka, I was afraid he was going to the NFL. I did not see him sticking around at 6'7", 294. And he's just a big dude, and I mean, what's he going to prove here at Nebraska State for his senior season? You got Uzoma Okafor doing the two-way thing. He's our top cornerback. Giunta is going to anchor the line, really our only returning starter from that offensive line. The running game, we have LaBelle and Watson there, and Kimberling's going to be our top receiver. So let's take a look at this because I want to see the quarterback situation that we have right now. Some guys have been calling for Graham Keith to play. Schnosky's listed as an 80. I mean, you could argue either way.
It's time.
I'm sure a lot of people will say that Keith deserves the nod to play.
It's time.
We're going to have an open quarterback battle, and we're going to see what happens.
Look at the speed numbers.
I saw him. Now, LaBelle and Watson, I'm going to move Watson back to running back this season. He was our fullback last year at 204, but senior season he's going to play and probably be our number 2 guy. I mean, Hargrove's going to get a lot of touches in there as well because he's just a younger kind of guy. And then we moved Landon Wade to fullback, as we talked about. Wide receiver, we have Kimberling and Vivaldi. And then these two guys who were in our first recruiting class. Jeff Anderson and Derek Smith are going to have to pitch in a big way there. Got Cody Joseph moving up, but he is going to be behind Prairie on the depth chart more than likely. So, yeah, this team's looking pretty good relative to where we've been. I mean, I like all the guys in the 80s, upper 70s. I'll take it.
Yet again, ACU is going to field a very elite squad, and we're looking at the defense and offensive line.
Yeah, and these guys are kind of the last of the mainstays here. James Washington and Armand Hammer. Eric Trichinger, which I thought he would be in the pros. Surprised that he came back. Wyrick Dysart's still there. I mean, Zappa Nyral's been there, as I talked about. Jimmy Ireland is now up to a 95. I could definitely see ACU featuring him more in the pass game.
Yeah, we see Jackson Lundhall here with 95 overall. Leonard David with a 94. So, yeah, this team is, again, very, very good. Very, very good.
Yeah, you can't sleep on these guys. Quentin Kleck's going to come in and be the new starting kicker, and he redshirted last year. So he's a very talented kicker, and they're really not going to miss a beat from Charlie Taft to Quentin Kleck, in my opinion. Ostrander's back. Aaron Penner's going to get his first extensive look.
98 speed.
Billy Joe Hopp's probably going to start this year with Churchwell. And you're going to see Bowers more. Haven't seen him too much yet. Alex Jefferson was a custom recruit. He's up to an 83 as a redshirt freshman. He did not play last year.
It's taken a long time for some of these custom recruits to actually see some action. So if you guys have stuck around, kudos to you, because you're finally going to start to see your guys come on through. And honestly, this ACU team, just looking at it, is this going to be the team that actually gets it done?
Could very well be. All right, here's a team that I think when you look at their roster, I don't see them being that far behind a lot of other teams in the Big 12 right now. It was surprising because we got the new coaching staff. It might actually work out.
Yeah, it's a breath of fresh air for them, even though I'm not a big fan of Brock Musselman as it is, but it's going to set a new tone for this team. And this is a school that just had a couple bad seasons, removed from a 9-4, 9-3 first year. It's a proud program that just fell on some hard times, and they have a lot of talent here on this roster. It's just up to Musselman to bring out the best in all of them. They got guys like Keon Sykes with a lot of juice in that running backfield there. And they've got Ezekiel Henry. Quan Alexander is going to be a junior right now, which is kind of crazy to think about, but he's ready to step up and be a big-time playmaker for them, 6'4". You know, you got Eugene Brown, who's a junior. You got Eugene Brown, who's a junior at 6'5".
Yeah, I like the fact that they have Schaefer and Sangster back. You look at the quarterback situation, Preston Michaels versus Nate Galveston. It would be an interesting quarterback battle right there. I mean, Galveston would have youth on his side, but I think defense should be okay. Shagbonyo and Powers. Cornerback might be an issue. I think Malcolm Griggs is their top corner. We'll check that out here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Griggs. Sykes has 99 speed, but he is related to Keon Sykes?
Yes,
okay,
he is.
Correct. Okay. So Amarillo, I think they can threaten for a. Hey, I think it's possible.
It's a bowl game.
Yeah. Here's a team that's going to lose a lot of talent, a lot of offensive talent. They are going to be down their Heisman-winning quarterback. They're going to be down their top 3 wide receivers, their starting running back, a couple offensive linemen, and a couple cornerbacks. I mean, it's going to be tough to keep this going, not to mention their head coach is gone. So, a new system with Todd Orlando, defensive guy. At least he's going to have Gatlin and Hayes Branson back to work with. Zugu's coming back, Cody Brozovic, so there's going to be a lot of names you guys recognize. Lamont Christian, one maybe you don't, he is in line to take over.
Yes, and the big thing here with Todd Orlando is, like you mentioned, the defense, and looking at guys like Connor Gatlin, Mary Hayes Branson, Brothers, Azugwu, Brozovic, Wesley, Faintus 9. He's got players here. Yeah. He's got players to work with. I think he's going to get the best out of this defense. The offense, though, that's going to be a question mark for me. In my mind, offense is a question mark for this team.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this team does have a lot of talent. Just unfortunately, it's a bit younger. You see a lot of redshirt sophomores up here, and then down the board, you're going to see more redshirt freshmen. So guys that are coming through the pipeline, but they're not quite there yet. I would see them taking a step back myself.
That's exactly what I was just going to get ready to say. I
just like to steal your thunder.
They got raw talent, like you mentioned in the prelude here. They're losing a lot of talent. They got a lot of raw talent, so it's up to Tyler Orlando to get the most out of it. I think he can get that out of the defense, but again, the offense is a question mark.
Now, here's a team that, if you back off of this team, you're going to do so at your own peril, because they are still a very talented team. A lot of guys on this team are still around from that national championship squad. I mean, I'm thinking of like Woodstrom and Hushka and Carl O'Brien, Fletcher. Tristan Prater did not start on that team, but I mean, these guys have been around. Okay, they know what the deal is. We see these guys all the time.
It's
Jeremiah
part of the winning
Pope,
culture.
Scott Thomas coming up. I mean, you see how deep it goes. So
it's scary. It's still scary.
Yeah, and they've still been recruiting well, been redshirting a lot of that talent. I'm excited for Denver Tech this year. One interesting thing, the wide receiver situation, they got Hushka, Brewer, and they got some freshmen in there. So maybe this year they transition back towards the running game. I think that's the way that I would go, but Makovich is a 99 overall player. So he has no reason to stay in school after this season. So yeah, Denver Tech looking really good right now.
Hopefully Camu will threaten Denver Tech for that top spot. Jace Freeman now at 97, their best quarterback that they've ever had in the school's history as far as being a pure passer. On top of that, got some good defensive players here with Demetrius Rollins and Warren Jones. Evangelo Jones, that will be another Jones as well. You guys are going to have to watch out for that. Diego Dobbs at running back with Doug Flores as well. He's not listed up here in the one of the top players, but they're still going to have a strong running game. That much is not going to change about this Camu offense. Flores now an 88 overall.
He was formerly the number one running back recruit in the nation, and he chose Camu. Coming out, he was debating between Camu and Stanford, and he ended up going with Camu. The one weakness of this team, I think offensive line's fine, defensive line has some talent still. I think the defensive backfield,
yeah.
You look at linebackers, Stillwell. I was surprised to see Hamrick was an 82, or he was a 77 last year, but he didn't play like it.
No, he played well above that.
Yeah, like right linebacker is kind of a problem. Cornerback is a major red flag on this team. Safety's pretty good, but cornerback and outside linebacker could pose a problem.
Well, if the offense, this is going to be a team now where we kind of got used to their defense kind of helping them out and guide that offense along the way. Now it's going to be totally different. It's going to be the offense that's going to try to help the defense. This is an offense that's going to score a lot of points, and the defense might give up a lot as well. So Camu might be getting to a lot of shootouts.
That would be a different taste for sure.
So here's Little Rock. Gunnar Rivers up to a 97 overall, 99 awareness. Gunnar, obviously one of the best quarterbacks in the NCAA. There's no question about that. He's already a preseason All-American. Jabari London at a 95. Mitchell at a 92. So at least the secondary.
He's an Ole Miss transfer.
Yeah. Yes. So good job, Chris. You picked a good team to come to because they're going to need your services. And it looks like the defense and the defensive backfield for sure is going to be a strong point for Little Rock. And this is something that they didn't have last year.
Should be an experienced team. They did not lose a lot of players. They're going to have a lot of guys back. You see Monet, and you saw Isaiah Green up there. Looking pretty good. The offensive line is okay. I think this is a team that would have to improve. Secondary depth might be a problem. They're not extremely deep there, but they got the guys at the top that'll hold serve.
Depth in general for this team is kind of an issue. It's very, very top heavy. So if their starters can get it done when they're supposed to, I think it'd be a really good season for them.
Now here's a team that head coach Leroy Jackson off of the Denver Tech tree is going to have to, we talked about it, apply his system and maximize the talent because he got Harkos Blair and we know what he can do. We know that he's capable of throwing it when asked to, but he loves to run the ball. And when you have to rebuild from scratch your offensive line, your running backs,
it's tough.
I mean, you don't have a lot of depth at receiver. Well, check out the receiver depth right here. I mean, they just lost so much senior leadership that it's going to be really hard. Abraham Young and Charles Brady
it's a decent
improved.
Group,
yeah, McDaniel's going to take over. McDaniel had 33 catches last season.
But that's the thing. Like with Matt McDaniel, he needed a +5 to get up to that 87. He's not going to be your all-world wide receiver.
Right.
That's it's kind of a question mark. But maybe they won't need it. Maybe they won't need it because Leroy Jackson will get that Denver Tech type of offense going.
Maybe he just goes to like read options 75% of the time, and Andres Buckley would be the beneficiary with that. I did move Derek Wade. He was listed as a wide receiver. I moved him over to running back because McAllen needed a backup running back, and I believe he was a former athlete recruit, so he fits the mold there. But so it should be an interesting situation. They lost so much senior leadership, like I talked about. This is not going to be the deepest team in the Big 12 by a long shot.
But there are things to be excited about.
Absolutely. All right, Midland State, again, looking like a team that is going to threaten because I picked them to win the West last year, and I actually turned out to be right, even though it didn't look like it at the time, and it got in on a technicality. But hey, Midland, I don't think they're going to go anywhere. I'm seeing Ulysses Neely, Dallas Wynn, Rex Austin, and Dylan Fowler with Dexter Whiteside. So Whiteside struggled down the stretch quite a bit, but he's up to a 95 overall now. He's got 81 awareness, which is probably his problem at quarterback.
Maybe that's a very good possibility. Now, when you said you don't see them going anywhere, what you meant was that they're gonna stay put. They're gonna still be very good.
They stay in the mix like they were last year. Yes.
Or did you mean they're not going anywhere?
No.
They still suck.
Nah, I meant that in the positive light. Defense looks good. I mean, Midland's kind of weird because they were so deep on defense and they had a lot of players in the mix. Sometimes I can never tell who was who because we don't do Midland games all the time.
Right.
So like I see like Talamontes on the bottom line like twice last year, but he's still a really good player. And I think they're still pretty deep. Like Searle and Witherspoon, these guys, they don't have a lot. They don't have the name recognition yet, but I think they're going to still be pretty good. Kent Collins as an 87, true sophomore, he's still going to wait his turn.
He's a 74 in awareness as well. So you know that by the time he's ready to take the job over, he might be a better quarterback than Whiteside.
I think he will be once he gets the full load, but. I don't know if you'd redshirt him. Maybe not, because you got Dawson, but I think Collins would be that kind of guy that would leave early anyway. So
at 6'4", 226, he knows he's a big-time player. It's tough for him to have to sit behind right now.
Yeah. I mean, if Whiteside really struggles, maybe you might go down that road if he's throwing picks left and right.
Right. Ooh, here's an interesting team.
Yeah, now by the looks of it, Odessa still looks like they're in rebuild mode. I mean, you don't want to be in 82 overall down here. I mean, I'm in the 70s right now, and I just entered the second quarter of their football roster, and I'm in the 70s. Now, they have a lot of guys, it's true, that are true freshmen, redshirt freshmen, littered throughout the roster. A lot of redshirt sophomores coming up through the wings, but Paris Austin is going to be up there too. He didn't train with them
right
in early winter, but he is going to be enrolling in the spring, obviously. So yeah, I'm not going to ramp up the expectations right now for Odessa State because they still have Pat Dowdell at quarterback. He's an 84. But the fact that he was an athlete with 69 awareness and the throwing accuracy, I'm not sure he's the greatest fit in the world for this offense, and you're rebuilding the wide receiver core from scratch.
This is true. However, they have been building. You may not have to build a case for them because I'll build the case for them. This team started from absolute scratch in year number 1. And Stan Leach went out and he had a plan. He had a purpose for this football team. He acquired all these defensive players, and you guys can see how the effect of those defensive players are coming into fruition now to be big-time contributors for the team. And are they going to win the Big 12? No. not by any sort of sense of the imagination. But will they get to a bowl game this year? I would assume so, yes.
I think they should get there.
All right, so Shreveport. When your best player is a kicker, it's almost like the Detroit Lions and Jason Hansen days. Every time you'd pop in Madden, it'd be like, oh, Jason Hansen's the best player. When that's your best player, you've got problems. But Shreveport looks like they're going to be pretty solid yet again. I mean, they do have some players that are going to be able to make plays. Seidel Riggins being the top running back, Demetrius Marks being the top wide receiver. Got good offensive line players with Pendleton, Plunkett, and Carter. So they're not really going anywhere either.
Yeah,
good
defensive
players.
Backfield's pretty good too.
Yeah,
Bradica's
Pryor
up to an
and Bradica.
86. Now, quarterback. Tell me what you think is going to happen at the quarterback spot.
Well, Canatel's got 80 awareness. I know that there's only a +2 difference. The speed numbers are relatively same. Acceleration, agility, strength. It's all going to come down to the throw power and the throw accuracy, in my mind, and the elusiveness as well. And I would think that it would probably end up going to Kerry Ashley. And just by looking at the numbers here, the throw accuracy is a 91 for Ashley. So I think that they're going to roll with the transfer.
Yeah,
Go with Kerry Ashley.
He came in from Oregon, so we look at Canatella, 19 and 12. They wanted to cut down on the interceptions, and that was kind of why he might lose the job. We don't know yet, because I mean we gotta play the spring games out and see what happens. But yeah, Canatella and Ashley is going to be a quarterback battle to watch.
The difference between Canatella and Ashley is Shreveport is a run-first team. So even if you want to throw Ashley in there, if he ends up showing that he's right on par with Canatella, you might just stick with Canatella to be your quarterback anyway, despite the overall differences.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the cornerback. They did lose some talent there. Amir Johnson's going to lead the way. Wide receivers look pretty good. Like maybe you throw the ball more this year with Marks.
That's very true.
Doucette, Jackson.
Might as well use those guys while you have them.
Yep.
You are now entering the transfer portal.
Rhett Bollinger going to Amarillo. Wow, this is different.
Yeah, he has agreed to play for the Armadillos, and he is enrolled. So this is the Rhett Bollinger you guys all know and love and remember. He is back, baby, and he's got a chip on his shoulder, along with his head coach.
Yeah, they're wanting to get a lot done here in their time at Amarillo. One shot, 1 year. That's why Rhett Bollinger decided on number one. Not only does he think he's number one, but he will be the number one quarterback on this team, and he only has one more year. One more year to
one chance to prove
to get it done.
You guys remember Cameron Willis? The news. Odessa State.
Odessa. Whoa.
Wow.
So he's hopping aboard here, the Odessa train.
Yeah, he left with his tail between his legs through no fault of his own. But his ego was bruised by the 2 years of humiliation that he endured at Nebraska State.
Yes.
And now he is going to go in. You know, you always know that when players transfer in conference, they want to prove something to their old school, their old program. You know, Cameron's got a lot of friends on that team, but he was not happy with the way the coach handled his situation. So now he's going to a pass-happy offense at Odessa State, and he's going to have a chance to prove himself here. He is switching from 8 to 5 because Pat Towdell currently owns number 8. Willis will be wearing number 5 this year.
I'm interested to see how Cameron Willis is going to do in this offense, number one. And number two, what's the connection between him and Paris Austin going to be like?
I think they're going to hit it off. I think they're going to have a lot of fun. You know, and you got to wonder if Paris was maybe got his phone number, started texting him, which you're not really supposed to do that, you know, tampering and all that sort of thing. But, you know, people will talk, as the saying goes. So Cameron and Paris, hopefully they hit this off in a big way.
You are now exiting the transfer portal. Have an enthralling existence.
All right, next phase, redshirting the players. Taking a look at Ardmore first. We are not redshirting Grayson Stanfield, the sophomore, the true sophomore, 81 overall. If in case Hicks gets hurt again, you don't want to have Stanfield not be the backup. Halfback, we're good. Fullback, Nelson Horn, he was moving from running back over to fullback to get groomed behind Jake Wood. And at a 46 overall, I think that might be a good idea.
Probably.
Eric Lane, freshman, getting redshirted there. So it's a lot of the 50 overall guys that we're trying to groom into our system. Let them learn Ardmore football. That's what we're trying to brand to them. Nate Johnson, also going to get redshirted. Rowe, as a freshman right guard, I was thinking about doing it since we do have Orlando Goodlove here. But we've also got a lot of seniors and juniors here for, 2 upperclassmen. So eventually we will be moving William Rowe over. I just don't want to lose him. He's way too good at a 77. Jeff Cooper will get some time, so he will be playing and getting himself acclimated to the college game. Dave Fisher is also going to get redshirted there. No red shirts for middle linebacker, outside linebackers, but middle linebacker Luke Davis will be. So that 57 makes sense. And a 69. Did it say 69 speed? Oh my goodness. Let's see. Alan Jones, cornerback, he's going to get redshirted as well, and Ivan Johnson. So again, just a lot of 56 overall players that are really dragging our overalls down. And
they're dragging your overalls down?
Wow. Yeah. That's a good pun.
All right, time for Nebraska State. Now, unfortunately, I had to do it. It's not like I can just play Bubba Robinson, okay? I can't just insert him into the lineup. So he will redshirt this year, and I don't think he should transfer. The issue that I would have with him is he's been recruited from Connecticut. Okay, so he's flying a long way out here to the great Midwest. So I hope he doesn't get homesick. That would be bad.
That could happen easily. Very well could happen.
Yeah, I got 4 true freshman receivers who I will be redshirting. Look at Brody Clement, the gem of our class, 5-star athlete, 68 wide receiver. Wow. Awesome. Sean Richardson at tight end. I'm going to end up redshirting him just because the signing of Shane Pryor really means that Richardson's not going to have a lot of playing time this season. So I'm just going to give that whatever third tight end duties happen. It's going to go to Tariq Sims, who redshirted last season. Lance Anderson, Ryan Beverly, Brett McCray, and Jeremy Alvarez. This is the Nebraska State way, okay? You redshirt your freshman offensive lineman.
You let them grow.
Absolutely. Got 2 defensive ends there. We're going to redshirt. Justin Fisher, redshirt. So a lot of the guys that we signed this season, Charles James, also going to eat a redshirt as well. Bottom cornerbacks, Jamie Scott, Nick Brown. I didn't want to do this, but Joe Sloan and Eric Washington will be redshirted this season. And I do that because we have Wiggins and Dion Massey, as well as Kareem Taylor. So, I mean, at safety, there's really just no route, no path to playing time for a guy like Joe Sloan. So, he'll take the year, play with the practice team, play with third teamers and, practice and all that, work out with the team, get used to the college life, and that's going to be the deal there. So, I just hope Bubba doesn't transfer, and I hope Eric Washington doesn't transfer. That would be bad. All right, let's check out ACU. So we should note that this is prior to our live stream that we're going to do to kind of close out the off-season. So these guys have not been renamed yet, but we got Bratton here as the number 4 quarterback. He will redshirt. We're not going to redshirt Dennis. Now, this one was tough. What do you think about Gross, Young, and Bonner all redshirting? What do you think?
I think it's a smart move because if you're ACU, you can just take whatever recruit that you want.
Yeah.
The recruits are piling up. The recruits are lining up for you. So if you want to go ahead and redshirt Bonner, Gross, and Young, then you can do it.
Or what if Bonner plays? It's going to be hard, though, because you got Danowski.
You can't. I mean, he's the second fastest guy on the team, Penner being a freak at 98. But I don't know where you'd fit him in, honestly, if you really look at it, because you got a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah.
And Bonner, you got to know what you're getting into,
right?
Honestly. You're coming into a situation where you're not going to be the best running back in the team. The team is ready to compete for possibly a national championship again. Big 12 championship first, obviously. First step is that. But you got to know what you're getting into, and I think that he does. So,
yeah, I hope.
Would he rather sit with a red shirt, learn the system, learn the ACU way, or is he gonna just burn a year on the bench?
Yeah, and saves wear and tear too. That would be a big factor. John Johnson is going to redshirt, so Aiden Mitchell is going to get a lot of those snaps as well as lightning quick. We're going to see Alex Jefferson for the first time. And then Cedric Jock is just going to play. The guy's an 80 freshman.
He'll get in at some point. If the starters get tired, he'll get in.
Right. Yeah, wide receiver. I mean, wide receiver, you can spread the level around a little bit more. All the freshmen offensive linemen are going to redshirt this year. And let's see, we have Joel Gibson, both defensive tackles here. This guy was a walk-on.
I love redshirting some of these guys that are really low because I want to see like if they really grow. You know what I mean?
This guy has no chance of making the team. That was, I guess it was just an oversight. Tony Palmer, linebacker, will redshirt. See the two cornerbacks here, Gibson and Campbell. Josh Howell, torn ACL.
Medical redshirt.
He will take a medical redshirt. James Washington going to play. Julius might get snaps, and then you see here Price and Banticane.
It's not the worst thing in the world because you have Washington who's going to be leading that way at a 99, and once he's gone, Howell, if he elects to come back and play, there you go.
Yeah, he'll definitely start next year and get a lot of playing time. Maybe play with Shane Price, and that would be a pretty good combo there. So that's going to do it for ACU.
So now as you guys first look at Rhett Bollinger, he's a 94. So obviously with 11 points better being over Michaels at an 83, he's by far going to be the guy, the starter.
I mean, Michaels and Galveston were not necessarily elated with the news, especially Preston Michaels, because that was the opportunity that he was waiting for 5 years, and it never happened for him.
It hurts.
He's going to stick it out with Amarillo. He's not transferring to, Northern Iowa or West Texas A&M or anything like that. He's just going to let it roll. He knows he's not an NFL quarterback, so
it's a new culture, man. This is what's happening with Brock Musselman. He doesn't take into any account any emotions of any players. It's just whatever's best for the football team. If you didn't show up, Preston, if nothing's just given, you got to earn it. So, and maybe some might argue that he did earn it, but with Bollinger coming in, Musselman obviously is saying he wants to make a statement that he wants to win.
The signs from camp say that Galveston is going to be the backup this season. Right. So then after that, it's going to be Galveston's job for 2 years. So Amarillo's in some pretty good hands right now.
Yes, and then we have Justin Davis being the freshman at 77. He'll be at the number 5 slot, and he is obviously going to be redshirted for obvious reasons. Then we have Brandon Lee at the 79. We were going to redshirt him. Now that was a tough choice because we do have Ezekiel Henry and Keon Sykes. If we decided that Kevin Fogel was not going to be the guy for the number 3 role, it would have been Brandon Lee. But we're going to roll the dice, and we're going to let Brandon Lee sit a year and get behind Fogel, and maybe Keon Sykes elects to go to the draft. We'll see what happens there. Hopefully he doesn't transfer.
Hopefully not.
Nathan Hearn at 70 and Ed Moss going to be the 2 redshirt wide receivers. We thought about getting Orion Bradshaw redshirted, but at 6'5", he's going to be a big-time target for Rhett Bollinger in this offense.
Yeah, he should be the number 4 guy.
For sure.
Possibly number 3. So he's not going to be at a loss for playing time.
Eric Baker going to be redshirted as a 66 freshman. David Sledge at an 80. So they got some pretty good tight ends at Amarillo for sure. So a lot of safe targets for Bollinger. Chad Ferguson, I really seriously thought about giving him the red shirt, but backed off of it. Trevor Jones as an 84. An 84 sophomore center, we're redshirting him.
He had a broken shoulder.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Sure.
And we have Jimmy Flynn, another project, going to get redshirted. Another project, Josh Ross. Chichi Montoya, red shirt, because we do have a lot of depth here. And Jeremy Jackson, the same ordeal. Kenyon Barnes at a 63, red shirt here. And that pretty much should do it as we round it out with Jamal Robinson at corner.
All right, so let's take a look at Broken Arrow. We're going to redshirt Michael Brandt. Buster Smith will have the lone claim to the number 2 quarterback situation. So custom recruit Buster Smith.
He earned it.
He's got 87 speed, so he's that runner. It says pocket passer, but he should be a scrambler.
Dude, you can't have an 87 speed and not be a scrambler.
I don't know.
Oh, he's a pocket passer. Believe us.
Yeah. Look at the running backs. Preston, Viper III, and Juan Bell are all going to get a lot of touches. So Setzer has to redshirt there. Wide receivers, we're going to redshirt Hurst, Juco, Andy Holiday, and Dan Smith. Dan Smith.
Nice name.
Daniel Yancey and Buchanan Simmons will be the top receivers. Antonio Mendoza going to get a lot of reps this year too.
This wide receiver core is hurting for Lamont Christian. It's probably maybe not going to be a very good year for him, especially with that, again, with that defensive-minded coach.
Yeah, and you got Kegan Coleman, Quincy Booth still, but Tony Williams going to redshirt. We got more offensive linemen redshirting there. Left tackle. Let's see, Eddie Andrews, redshirt. Walter Tranigan, redshirt. Colby Bolton, we are going to redshirt just because he's kind of buried behind there. Nick Kilpatrick was a big get for this team. They really like him and think he's going to develop into something really good. So they're going to let him play. Jeff Carey redshirts. I got 3 quarterbacks down here, all redshirting. Just because, I mean, once we lose Brothers Azugwu, I mean, we need some guys with some experience, and they need to get better fast. Faintest will play at strong safety as usual. I didn't switch him over this offseason. I forgot to do it. Louis Marshall redshirts there. And that does it for Uba. Let's take a quick look at Denver Tech here. They will redshirt Andre Brandt. So Bobby Greer is going to be the number 3 quarterback. And he's going to have to impress the coaching staff here in his first full season to stave off Brandt for the future. That'll be kind of an interesting battle there. We're going to let Craig Reed and Nick Burns play. Because, I mean, hey, you're one of the top 4 receivers on the roster. You're playing, man. So Greenwood and McCormick will end up redshirting. Kelvin Hicks with a redshirt. Zach Thompson redshirts. We're going to let Nicholson play. Harris. Copeland, we decided to go with the redshirt. I think that's fair because Jeff Fletcher is a junior, so maybe he might be off to the NFL. We don't really know that. So more offensive linemen redshirting for DIT. You got Sean Black with a redshirt. Mike Brady. That's a tough call, but I think it makes sense.
He's one of the top recruits in the nation last season, so.
Yeah, but it's just like with Lloyd and Purcell as juniors and Atari Barclay. You know, when these guys are seniors, I don't want Brady to start playing when he's a junior. You know, I think that makes sense. Bryant and Weaver at linebacker will redshirt. Antoine Taylor is going to play. Chris Moore is going to play. I think this guy's going to be really good. An 80 true freshman. I think he's
87 speed as a linebacker. Yeah, he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, we'll probably play him over Davis. Brandon Wiley will redshirt. No redshirt at cornerback. Jimmy Bergstrand will have to sit. I know, hey, if you go to Ardmore, you could have played right away. But that's not the case, is it?
Traitor.
So that'll do it for Denver Tech.
All right, Camu redshirt time. What do we got?
Well, Harold Reed Jr. is going to have to redshirt because Camu is so deep at this position. I think it only makes sense.
Serge Cobb, Bellamy, Doug Flores, Dago Dobbs. Yeah, they're pretty deep.
Yeah, so, you know, I think he's fine with that. Hopefully. He should be cool. Now we're going to have Josh Carter at the bottom. Redshirting. So, Camu, like, they had a pretty small class, right? So it's hard to find redshirt guys.
Yeah, but, I mean, they're basically, they've got a lot of good people that are starting as well. So playing time probably played a factor into the amount of freshmen that they were going to be getting, because they are a little bit young in some spots, but they're pretty good in those spots as well. So
Evangelo Jones is going to play, though.
Yes, he is. He has to, in my opinion, because he's a very good player, and we want him to start getting some experience in that role. I think he's eventually going to take over Wright's spot.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Next in line, Little Rock Battlehawks. Being at Gunnar Rivers' job, and he's only a junior. Got 2 sophomores here with Jared Rhodes and Brooks Tompkins. Matt Smiley's going to get the red shirt at quarterback.
And no more Rhett Bollinger. So.
No more Rhett Bollinger for Gunnar to worry about. He might have been a cancer.
Could have been.
Very possible that he was a cancer in that locker room. A lot of freshmen here. Deep. Sloan, Anderson, Cook, and Lopez. And then we got Drew Bonds at a 71, freshman, 94 speed. He's the fastest guy, and he's going to get the red shirt. So maybe they might have been able to use Drew Bonds in some like punt return, kick return type of deal, but they're going to elect to say, you know what, Drew, we need you on the red shirt. We need to get you more acclimated to learn how to catch dang football.
Oh, yeah. Now, I wonder if this means that Little Rock should run the ball more. I'm just throwing it out there.
You're throwing it out there that they need to run the ball?
Yeah.
Interesting. Tyrone Neal, you're going to get the red shirt as well. You got to get that done. And nothing here at the offensive line spots. Unless we want to go with Josh Edwards here at the red shirt. I think that's probably a good idea.
Fair.
There's no reason that he's going to even see the field at that point. And when we look at a guy like Quentin Clark, he's going to get a red shirt. Again, I just love putting those guys that are really, really low as project type of players. Quentin Abrams getting that 45. And then we've got Michael Payne here at 61. That seems like a good idea. And then at corner, Daniel Mack. You get the red shirt there. And last but not least, the freshman strong safety. I think he's going to be pretty solid player, but they're going to redshirt him as well to try to get him more experience.
All right, let's check out Midland State here. Dexter Whiteside entrenched in the starting position, which means Kent Collins, we were debating it. But, I mean, you really just can't do that to a true sophomore, a guy with NFL upside. I mean, what difference is it going to make? He plays 1 year as a redshirt sophomore, he plays 1 year as a junior, and if he plays well enough, he's off to the NFL. I think either way, you're not getting a 5th year out of Kent Collins.
No,
so it makes no sense.
Plus, he knows his worth, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one injury to Dexter Whiteside, and it all comes down to Kent Collins. So he understands what happens with the backup role. And when you look at Dawson as well, you know, he's chomping at the bit too, because he knows, hey, if Kent decides to leave at some point, I could be the next guy in line. So you always got to be wary of that as a backup quarterback.
Yeah, Nick Mays, it's a tough call. I think we're just going to roll with the red shirt here because Cox and James also have some upside. But, I mean, if we redshirt Mays, get an extra year out of him, that would be a big deal. Colton Yo, we're going to keep him playing. We will slot him in as the 5th or 6th receiver, but he will get time as well at cornerback, and we'll get to the corners in a minute. But Colby Austin and Derek Palmer, who I moved from corner to receiver, will take a seat there this season. We'll see a right guard at center. We have Justin Brown. That center out of Nevada was a little bit lost a couple points upon signing him, so he's a 69. So we're going to redshirt him. Bryant and Hopkins trying to build offensive line depth for the future. Washington is a redshirt. D'Anthony Okobo, we're going to go with the redshirt because there's no playing time to be had for him yet.
Yeah,
I mean, we could stick him a little bit at outside linebacker, but when we have Ashley and Brock as well, like I don't think it makes a lot of sense. So we see all the freshman corners. We had to let, I think, 3 of them go. 1 I converted, and 2 I converted to wide receiver. So that's what happened to all those quarterbacks at the bottom. Francis, Morgan, Kelly, Birch.
You got to do it because they're not even going to play anyway. You might as well just have those 4 guys, learn the system, groom up, and be really good players in year number
3.
Number 3.
Like, they want to have to not worry about recruiting a cornerback for the next 2 years. Ideally, that's what you get by redshirting the bottom half of that. Carl Everett, Fred Greer, Talley, and Jones. So they're going to roll with
Clark, Andrews.
Was that 7 defensive backs they're going to roll with? So
One.
maybe
For for safety, they're going to go with Clark, Andrews, and the starter at free safety. So they've only got 3 people in the backfield.
Yeah, maybe TJ Jones, because he's probably going to be that kind of guy that we just cut eventually. So I'll let him play. Talley's coming in as a JUCO. Or do you just let Talley
You
play?
play Talley. You play Talley. And
you
you
let
play
Everett
Everett.
play?
You play Everett.
Okay.
He's only a 1 differential right there.
Whatever.
You play the true freshman.
So as we see Odessa State here, Cameron Willis has improved to a 92 overall player. And they are going to need to rely on him because they're hoping maybe Pat Dowdell can learn a thing or two from Cameron Willis. Because Dowdell, I don't think he proved himself ready for the job last year. 59% completion. He did pretty well as a receiver in limited action. He had 4 catches for 2 touchdowns. So he'll get some time in there at receiver as well. But yeah, he will be the primary backup quarterback. Now this one, Johnny Johnson Jr., when he filled in for the injured Dowdell, he went 2 of 9. And the coaching staff, Coach Stan Leach, was not really that impressed with him, which is why Danny Booker got all of those reps last season. So still work in progress down here, but yeah, Willis will start, and then they're going to let Dowdell deal a little bit of both. Keller and Brown, redshirt. Wide receiver, I know we're redshirt happy. It's just the way we are. We want to keep talent growing.
In-house, yes.
So Richard Washington, Kadir Childs Harris, Brett Clancy, and PJ Carpenter will all redshirt. So Dowdell's going to slide in there probably around the 6th spot. So if they run a 5 wide receiver set and one of these guys are off the field, maybe that's when you would see Pat Dowdell out there. But yeah, Paris Austin will be the number 1 receiver out of junior college, and Jabari McCollum will be the number 2. So he's the veteran here, obviously. Had 43 catches in 2013. I mean, has not repeated that, but he's going to be the veteran. So Stanley is going to play, or Stanley's going to get redshirted at tight end. I'm going to let the offensive lineman go, except for Rogers, just because I remember what happened with Odessa last year. They had a lot of offensive line injuries, and it really hurt them. So, these guys are going to be crucial to their depth this season, so they are going to play. Ian Hyven will redshirt. And then as we look at defensive tackle, Russell and Scroggins will redshirt. So we were talking about Odessa becoming the fan team in a weird way.
They got a lot of people.
I mean, they are objectively the least popular team. But it's kind of funny because they have a lot of our custom recruits now, so they might get more of a following.
Now they have Cameron Willis at quarterback, and everybody loves Cameron Willis.
Yeah, so Amarillo, you are the new least popular team.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's check this out. Andrew Grant will redshirt there. Edwards also gets a redshirt. Barnes is going to start. Tony Barnes, you are starting, my friend. Let's check it out.
Responsibility.
I know. Paul Allen will redshirt there. And Jason Kelly, true freshman, starting at strong safety for Odessa.
Last but not least, the Shreveport Skeeters. And with as many youngsters at running back that these guys have, Jackson, Stephen Bryant, Eaton Collins, Brian Scott, they are going to be redshirting David Brown. Look at the speed numbers with these guys. They're bruisers,
yeah,
okay? They want to try to implement a little bit more Ardmore type of thing where it's a 3-headed monster. We're just going to just run the ball down your throat all game long.
These CPU names are killing me, though, man.
Ricky Williams?
No, that was one of... it was auto-generated, but it was your player.
Oh, yeah.
But
right.
I'm talking about Collins...
Eaton Collins.
Scott and Brown,
Yeah.
It has less sticking power in your memory.
I know.
It's too generic.
I know, but look at this guy, Chad Culp. That's a good name.
I'll remember that.
That's a good name. We're going to go ahead and redshirt him because, let's see, we're just got a lot of guys here at receiver, right? I mean, Travis Jackson, sophomore, Jones, Matt Jenkins. A Jenkins!
Oh, God.
No. A Jenkins! Come on, man.
You got to say it correctly.
He's the fastest. Look at this. I want to see Shreveport throw the ball a little bit more. Look at that. 92, 90, 91.
This might be the year to let it rip.
Yeah, they got guys that can stretch the field a little bit. This team might be on the rise.
Yeah.
Andrew Jones going to get the red shirt at tight end because why not? And Jay Ballmer, the job is all yours.
No, Boone Lawson will play a little bit, but he moved over to offensive line, so that's going to be his primary. But in the 2 tight end packages, you'll still see Boone Lawson for sure.
Jason Ross going to get the red shirt at left guard. We do have a freshman here, C.J. Jones, right behind Anton Plunkett. And Juan Powers, also going to get the red shirt there as well. Chris Pendleton, senior 88. Titus Oliver, right behind him at 75. Nothing that we're going to be able to do there. Sidney Hines, might as well play. 82 to a 79 drop-off is not that much. So you're gonna play. In case of an injury, we need you. Josh Jones, you will play.
What about Stewart?
Samson Stewart, yeah, you're gonna get redshirt. I mean, well, you know what? No. You got an 85 speed. You're gonna be a blitzer. You're gonna be coming in, and you're gonna be a guy that's only gonna be on blitz packages only. Andre Baker at a 75. He's got 2 seniors in front of him. That's a tough call. That's a very, very tough call.
Yeah.
I think you got to let him play. You got to get him in there at some point. You can't, if you are Shreveport, you can't have these type of players leave your program. Can't do it. Plus at corner, we can't redshirt anybody here either. Not a lot of depth there. Jordy Davis right behind Matt Braddock. This is tough, but
yeah, I agree with you though. You don't want to scare anybody off.
no, you gotta let them play.
I think you just let Mac and Larry Air and all those DBs. You just let them play.
Yep, I agree. So that is your Shreveport Skeeters. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this episode. Leave a like if you like this thing, and keep in mind the next episode of this off-season series will be the ACU renaming ceremony. So make sure you guys are tuned in. Here I will be posting up at the community tab when that's going to be. So make sure you guys mark the calendars, and we'll do a live stream for that. If you guys won, you will be able to take part in the renaming of those freshmen across all the NCAA. You don't have to do
ACU is an open floor for anybody in the chat.
Correct. Everybody else, if you won, you can do it on Ardmore if I'll allow it. You can do it on Nebraska State if you'll allow it.
Basically, if you don't know what we're talking about, just join up for the live stream and you'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that the guys in the comment section in the chat will guide you along if we're a little too busy. All right, so that's going to be it for you guys, and that's going to be done for this episode. We are out. Leave a like if you like this thing, and we'll see you guys in the next upload. As always, peace.